Hello, I'm Dick Beahrs, and I feel very blessed to have been a close friend of Bob for almost 60 years. It is so difficult to characterize that wonderful man, Robert Kingsbury Lane. He was singularly unique. I was so fortunate to meet him as a freshman at Berkeley in the fall of 1963. When you combine the special chemistry of Bob and the energy of Berkeley, you can only expect spontaneous combustion, and that's what you got. The free speech movement, the Vietnam War, the civil rights movement, sit-ins, and through it all, we heard Bob's incredible laugh, and boy, did we need that. Just think, Bob graduated what was then a military academy in Southern California before enrolling at Cal, where he enlisted in the Army ROTC. That gave him the responsibility to wear an Army uniform on the Berkeley campus once a week during his undergraduate years. That, of course, led to lots of fascinating debates, and Bob certainly welcomed them. He was also a reader who thought deeply about issues and could express himself so effectively. In fact, he's the only person I ever knew who could successfully proclaim himself a conscientious objector while he was in the Army. To me, the evolution of his thinking on Vietnam and other issues reflects Bob's intellectual integrity. It perfectly illustrates an admonition from Mahatma Gandhi. It's not my aim to be consistent to what I have said, but to be consistent to the truth as it reveals itself to me. Bob also continuously provided us pithy observations at all times. During one spring break, we took a 1,000-mile train trip from our border to Mazatlan in Mexico. I believe it cost us $10. After 2 nights of little sleep, we sat upright in our seats. Bob would calmly proclaim, "I like Mexico," followed by 30 minutes of silence, and then, "I'd like to be a Rolling Stone." Bob was always willing to challenge institutions, and this has been reflected in his dogged determination to address issues as climate change. I've always appreciated Bob's ability to discuss these things in the context of the sometimes manic absurdity of our lives as we try to remain sane during these difficult times. When Carolyn and I lived in New York City, there was never a time when a visit from Bob didn't lead to what I would call unusual experiences. One of these events was when Carolyn and I returned to our apartment in Manhattan, and Bob had rearranged everything in the apartment. Everything was changed. But to be honest, I have to say, it actually looked better after Bob's magic touch. I'll never forget how things really changed after we met Reiko, who is so exceptional in every single way. We'll never forget a visit to Connecticut, enhanced by their car, the Shield. Even his cars had personalities. We've all marveled at Reiko's skills on the organ. Let's don't forget that Bob could pound the keyboard as well. My only issue was that it always seemed to me the same number. Nevertheless, I loved it. I can't conclude without noting how much Bob cared about his friends. When some of his fraternity brothers fell on tough times, Bob always went the extra mile to try and provide truly meaningful support. Not long ago, I reached out to Bob to get his legal perspective on a tax issue. I told him I planned to utilize the perspective of a New York ad agency in arguing my case, the truth well told. Bob responded, "I find that sometimes it's better to stand firm on another principle. The truth is not available today." In closing, I want to share an observation which I read this very morning, and I found it very comforting. Grief is the price we pay for love. My feelings for Bob can be summarized in a single word: unforgettable.